All right, should be live on YouTube. There's always like this lag. So I need to make sure that it's actually streaming. Okay. Let's go. Gonna start recording. Oh, so welcome everybody to the Yin Yang Wolf Pack. And we're back, man. It's Sunday, it's the day of the Lord. Feels good. It feels good to be one of God's children on this beautiful earth. You know, he gave us his kingdom. Everything that belongs to the Father belongs to the Son. And this is all my Father's. And it is all mine. It's a playground. It was given to you. This is supposed to be fun, man. You're supposed to be playing. I'm playing with my environment. I'm playing with the people. I'm playing with my business. I'm playing with my friends. I'm playing with the girls. I'm playing with the boys. We have different games. This is all just it's fun, man. It's so fun. I get to go out and practice my skills and get better, man. Like you're supposed to be evolving. You're supposed to be developing. You're supposed to be getting better. And as this thing happens, it becomes more enjoyable. Now, the flip side of it is you get new challenges, right? At level 1, you have certain challenges. Then you get to level 2, and it's cool to be better than level 1. But level 2 is going to have its own set of issues that you need to deal with. It's like any video game, man. What came to mind immediately was Pokemon. If you remember Pokemon, like you get a level 5 starter, and then the highest level is 100, and you have to go through every single level, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, up to 100. All right, the bosses, the main bosses, the Elite Four that are like at 75, 78 or something, but you can go past them and you can get better than them. And then you get like you catch legendary Pokemons. Like there's a whole world that happens, and it's all very analogous to real life. And because really that's what it is. It's based on real life. Like it's fake in the sense that I'm not really catching Pokemon, but it's real in the sense it's real in the adventure of it. You really do go out and acquire skills and new abilities. Like now, when I was a kid, I didn't know the fucking law. I didn't know how to practice law. Now I have that skill. Now I have that ability. When I was younger, I couldn't speak to girls. I didn't know how to go out and like talk to people and be social. Now I have that ability. I have that skill. I've gained experience points, and I went up level to get to where I am. And let's see, in the grand scheme of life, I'm probably still, it's probably by age. I'm probably at level 29 because I'm 29 years old. And every year I go up a level. Actually, no, that's totally not true because everyone who's my age doesn't have what I do, doesn't do what I do. And there are people that were younger than me that are probably better at me at certain stuff. So I don't think it's by age, but it's by experience. Definitely by experience. So the XP, experience points, that makes total sense. That is life. You gain experience points. I gained experience points to do martial arts. I grew up doing Taekwondo. I gained experience points on saxophone. I gained experience points on DJing, on again being a lawyer, on social skills, on my body. Like, dude, my body is getting bigger because I'm more aware of what I eat, and so it gets stronger. I'm feeding the animal. I'm feeding the beast, and you are 99% beast. Your DNA is shared with the chimp, and a lot of it is shared with the dog and with all of these animals, right? They share the same sequence as us, and so we have a lot of similarities with them, right? We all have the desire for sex and for food, and to fucking use the restroom and all that shit. Like you have that same desire. You are that thing. Like that animal is within you. It's not separate from you. It is you. Well, it's not fully you, but it is part of you. It is a piece of who you are. It's honestly a large piece because we're in these physical bodies, and these physical bodies require nourishment. So you need to eat. It is what it is. So see this thing from the proper perspective, man. See it as what it is. It is you evolving through a storyline. You're living in your story. You're living in your head. My story is I'm a lawyer. My story is I do social dynamics. My story is I host parties. My story is I do streams. My story is I talk to the world. That's a fun story for me, man. This has been a very fun story. I ran the storyline of the musician for a long time. Now I'm a business owner. I'm earning that story. I'm a martial artist again. I love that story since I was a fucking kid. Since I was 6 years old, I love that story. And now I'm fucking 29 and we're back at the same story. Why? Because I loved it so much. That's why I think everything that you loved as a kid, like you can't run away from that, man. It's like in your soul. Like I could not run away from the martial arts, no matter how hard I tried. Like it was so much a part of my being and my entire existence that I couldn't get away from it. And so here I am again. That's why I foresee myself again jumping back into music. Like I just like, dude, that was my life for like 8 years or something. I started playing saxophone when I was 12. I stopped maybe when I was like 20. 8 years of my fucking life. And even then, I didn't even really stop. I stopped saxophone, but what I transitioned to was DJing and producing and making music. And like, that was so much of my life. What's really cool is that I think what I've done now is come back to like the law really for me is like academic scholarship. Like I was always really good at school. Obviously, I was a valedictorian of my fucking high school. I went to fucking Harvard. Holy shit. I forget this shit, man. Holy shit, motherfucker. I went to Harvard. I was literally watching The Social Network. The movie about the Mark Zuckerberg, who went to Harvard as a sophomore, dropped out to make Facebook. I didn't make fucking Facebook. I wouldn't have wanted to make Facebook. Like, that's cool. That's great for him, man. My motherfucker is a billionaire or whatever. Like, that's a cool ass story. But anyways, what I mean to say is that the scholarly intellectual activities have also been a part of me forever. I always enjoyed school because I was actually really good at it. That's really it, you know? I got to learn things, I got to apply it, and I got to show how good I was at it. Now, I don't really know how good I was because I grew up in public school, dude. I grew up in the fucking hood. Well, I didn't grow up in the hood, but I went to school in the hood. I was slightly outside of the hood. Like there weren't like gangs there were gangs or whatever, right? But it's like I wasn't being like threatened and shit and like join a gang, motherfucker, or deal drugs, motherfucker. Like that wasn't really it. But I went to school in the fucking hood where all everyone did was fucking deal drugs and shit. Now, I think because of my upbringing, because of my martial arts, you know, like now I realize probably if I were to get in a fight, I could hold myself, you know, as a kid or whatever, but I probably wasn't as good as I thought I was. However, I did carry that with me. I did carry the warrior spirit with me to the point to where nobody ever fucked with me. I was always smaller. I was the smallest fucking kid. I remember being so fucking short. But why was I not fucking bullied? Why was I not picked on? It was because of my attitude. And my attitude was, I'm like the smartest motherfucker here. I could probably beat all of you up. Like I'm winning at everything. And so just by having that mentality, I was able to experience life a certain way. Now, that was me as a kid. Then I went to Harvard, and then that was the fucking the transition. That was like, oh, you think you're the shit? Okay, well, let's find out. Then I went to a school where all of the kids were that their entire lives, just like me, if not to a higher extent. Right, like legit genius level people. Like what was who I was with, like only. Like motherfucker, it was like 3% of applicants get into Harvard every year. And it's probably gone less and less and less. Like when I got in, I think it was around 3.9% of applicants getting into Harvard. And then like it only gets smaller every year. So being in that world, like imagine being in that world. Like I wonder how I could explain to you what that is like. Like that was, I lived there for 4 years. That was my life for 4 years. Right. And then after that, I went to law school, which is even more like, I'm just diving deeper into this fucking thing that is academia. Like I just deeper and deeper and deeper fucking, I went to fucking elementary, middle school, high school. Everyone does that, right? After that, I go to the fucking greatest school on earth. Literally like the #1 school on earth, fucking Harvard. I go there. And then after that, I was like, let me keep fucking going. let me keep doing this shit. And then I fucking go to law school, which I would say it is second in as far as rigor. I would put it second below being a doctor. Like doctor, that is like 8 years or something. I went to law school for 3 years. But even still, it's very intense, man. It's like intense studying and focus and reading and understanding and applying and writing and all of that shit. Not to mention the whole social aspect of it is like there are these clubs and these programs and stuff that you get into. So you're dealing with all of this. And I dealt with all of that. But even through all of that, I saw that as like a means to an end. I saw that as this is how I'm going to give to the world. It's like it was I always kind of knew, like it was through my mind, it was through my head, it's through my speech, like how I talk, how I move, like that is what I'm giving the world. And that is not what I'm getting paid for. Now this is just an extension of that. Oof, you heard that? Damn. So it's like whenever I left college, I wanted to I took serious being a DJ, whatever the fuck that means. And I took serious music producing, but I went right back to school because I was like, I don't know, one was like fear, I guess. Like I didn't really know if I could make it in music or whatever. But I think the other thing is just like, this is what I was meant to do, man. Like I was meant to use my mind, use my words, use this shit, you know? Like that was like for fun, for play. Like martial arts was for fun, for play. Like it's still a part of me. Like it really is like this integration of all of these things. And I think I am accomplishing it more and more now. It's happening now, right? I went to fucking martial arts school. What the fuck? I'm like throwing parties hosted by me. Like, and so I'm gonna go. I think I'm diving back into like the DJing thing, man. I'm gonna dive back into music because I can't get away from it, man. It's a passion, it's a love. Looking for a savior. I was just listening to the song. Then, dude, then the EDM world, that was its whole fucking thing. Like, what the fuck, man? How am I doing this shit? I don't know. Okay, what do we want to talk about? I've just been fucking ranting, but this is fun, right? We're having a fun time. Um, let's see. Yeah, I think everything you liked as a kid is what is you, you know? And so don't run away from it because you can't. You're not going to. I loved martial arts so much, I'm doing that shit again. I love music so much, I'm about to do that shit again. I feel it coming. It's coming. I loved reading, man. I love learning. I love like figuring out the fucking world. Like I think at my deepest core, I'm like a philosopher, man. Like I want the wisdom, and I seek the wisdom, and I feel like there's nothing else to do. And so, but once you get the wisdom, is you have to have the ability to apply it. And through applying it, you get more wisdom because you get a deeper understanding of what is going on. And that isn't that what all we want, man. Isn't that all we want? We just want to figure out what the fuck is going on. How did I get here? What the fuck is going on? Were there aliens? Is God real? Like, is he? I don't fucking know, man. Actually, I know, but I can't prove it to you. So it's just a knowingness. It's a knowingness that I'm here for a higher purpose, and this is part of that purpose. Like I think I was meant to be a speaker, and I'm so glad for AZD and IMC Nation. Like it's giving me everything, man. As much as I feel like my mom's giving me everything, or like my family's giving me everything, like, or even like being a lawyer is like, I feel like it's giving me everything. Like, bro, I live in a beautiful home. I have some dope ass friends. I can afford everything that I want. Like, I'm not rich, but it's like I'm significantly better off than anybody ever in my family line, probably. Yeah, I think so. And I'm only getting more opportunities now. I was getting a call yesterday about getting immigration clients in California. It's just expansion, man. It's nothing but expansion. You should set yourself up so that that is what's occurring in your life. And honestly, it's natural. It's not like this is some weird, crazy thing. It's like it's natural for you to continue evolving and continue getting better. And if you're not doing that, you're actually against your own evolution. And that's stupid. That's stupid as fuck. Don't do that shit. Okay. Let's see, man. What else is going on? Life has just been fun. Life has been so cool. Oh, I wanted to actually talk a little bit about Stoicism. Let's get back into Stoicism. Shit, how long have I been talking? 20 minutes? Something like that. I have so much to do, so little time. I wish I had more time, man. I'll do this for a while. Then all the stuff with fucking law. It takes a long time too. All right, let's talk about Stoicism. Seneca, Lucius Aeneas Seneca. What does he have to tell us? Happy is the man that may choose his own business. Bam. Happy is the man who may choose his own business. Oh, the blessings of privacy and leisure, the wish of the powerful and eminent, but the privilege only of inferiors. Damn, bro, speak. Preach that shit. Who are the only people that live to themselves. Nay, the very thought and hope of it is a consolation, even in the middle of all the tumults and hazards that attend greatness. It was Augustus's prayer that he might live to retire and deliver himself from the public business. His discourses were still pointing that way, and the highest of felicity, which this mighty prince had in prospect, was the divesting himself of that illustrious state, which, how glorious soever in show, had at the bottom of it only anxiety and care. Okay? But it is one thing to retire for pleasure, and another thing for virtue, which must be active in that retreat, and give proof of what it has learned. For a good and a wise man does in privacy consult the well-being of posterity. Yeah. Zeno and Chrysippus did greater things in their studies than if they had led armies, borne offices, or given laws, which in truth they did, not to one city alone, but to all mankind. Their quiet contributed more to the common benefit than the sweat and labor of other people. That retreat is not worth the while, which does not afford a man greater and nobler work than business. There is no slavish attendance upon great officers, no canvassing for places, no making of parties, no disappointments in my pretension to this charge, to that regiment, or to such or such a title. No envy of any man's favor or fortune, but a calm enjoyment of the general bounties of providence in company with good conscience. A wise man is never so busy as in the solitary contemplation of God and the works of nature. He withdraws himself to attend the service of future ages. And those counsels which he finds salutary to himself, he commits to writing for the good of after times, as we do the receipts of sovereign antidotes or balsams. He that is well employed in a study, though he may seem to do nothing at all, does the great things yet of all others, in affairs both human and divine. To supply a friend with a sum of money, or give my voice for an office, these are only private and particular obligations. But he that lays down precepts for the governing of our lives and the moderating of our passions obliges human nature, not only in the present, but in all succeeding generations. All right, what the fuck was he talking about? I think I kind of get it. He was talking about passing on the wisdom, right? Giving precepts for life. What should the future do? Based on your knowledge, based on your understanding, what you figured out, what should the people after you do? Motherfucker, I don't know, but I know that they need to fucking work hard. I know that they need to have a dream, they need to have a vision, and they need to do what they can to make that happen. And when things come and fuck with that vision, continue creating and move with it like water. This thing comes straight at me, I'm gonna dance with this energy, dance with the universe, move with it. It's not so stiff. It's not stiff at all, honestly. I remember reading somewhere that there are actually no such thing as curves. They're just straight lines at tinier and tinier angles. If you know calculus, you understand this. They're just a bunch of tiny lines. There's a straight line right there. Like if you take any curve and you go and zoom in enough, if you zoom in enough, you find that's a line. And that's another line, that's another line. And it's just an infinite number of lines that keep changing their angle to develop the illusion that there is a curve. Now, if you can understand that, you can understand the opposite. there are no lines. The line is an illusion. That line is not straight. That line is a bunch of tiny curves. A bunch of little... Oh my God. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's see. Anything else? I don't know what else I'm inspired to talk about, honestly. Let's read a little bit more. We can read a little bit more of Seneca. Man, dude, I'm almost done with this shit. It's really cool. He that would be at quiet, let him repair to his philosophy, a study that has credit with all sorts of men. The eloquence of the bar or whatsoever else addresses to the people is never without enemies. But philosophy minds its own business, and even the worst have an esteem for it. There can never be such a conspiracy against virtue. The world can never be so wicked that the very name of a philosopher shall continue venerable and sacred. And yet philosophy itself must be handled modestly and with caution. But what shall we say of Cato then, for his meddling in the broil of a civil war, and interposing himself in the quarrel betwixt two enraged princes? He that, when Rome was split into two factions betwixt Pompey and Caesar, declared himself against both. I speak this of Cato's last part, for in his former time the commonwealth was made unfit for a wise man's administration. All he could do then was but bawling and beating of the air. One, while he was lugged and tumbled by the rabble, spit upon and dragged out of the forum, and then again hurried out of the Senate house to prison. There are some things which we propound originally, and others which fall in as accessory to another proposition. If a wise man retire, it is no matter whether he does it because the commonwealth was wanting him, or because he was wanting to it. But to what republic shall a man betake himself? Not to Athens, where Socrates was condemned, and whence Aristotle fled, for fear he could have been condemned too, and where virtue was oppressed by envy. Not to Carthage, where there was nothing but tyranny, injustice, cruelty, and ingratitude. There is scarce any government to be found that will either endure a wise man, or which a wise man will endure, so that privacy is made necessary. Because the only thing which is better is nowhere to be had. A man may commend navigation and yet caution as against those seas that are troublesome and dangerous, so that he does as good as command me not to weigh anchor that commands sailing upon only these terms. He that is a slave to business is the most wretched of slaves. But how shall I give myself a liberty? We can run any hazards for money, take any pains for honor. And why do we not venture also something for leisure and freedom, without which we must expect to live and die in a tumult? For so long as we live in public, business breaks in upon us, as one billow drives another, and there is no avoiding it with either modesty or quiet. It is a kind of whirlpool that sucks a man in, and he can never disengage himself. A man of business cannot in truth be said to live, and not one of 1,000 understands how to do it. For how to live and how to die is the lesson of every moment of our lives. Fuck. All other arts have their masters. All other arts have dude, what the hell? How to live and how to die is a lesson of every moment of our lives. Right? We were born to die. We died so that we could be born again. As a busy life is always a miserable life. Damn, Seneca. So it is the greatest of all miseries to be perpetually employed upon other people's business. For to sleep, to eat, to drink at their hour, to walk their pace, and to love and hate as they do is the vilest of servitudes. Yeah, dude. That's why you can't just be an employee to somebody. You have to do stuff for yourself. Now, though business must be quitted, let it not be done unseasonably. The longer we defer it, the more we endanger our liberty. And yet we must no more fly before the time than linger when the time comes. Or, however, we must not love business for business's sake, nor indeed do we, but for the profit that goes along with it. For we love the reward of misery, though we hate the misery itself. Many people I know seek business without choosing it, and they are even weary of their lives without it, for want of entertainment in their own thoughts. The hours are long and hateful to them when they are alone, and they seem as short on the other side under debauches. When they are no longer candidates, they are suffragans. When they give over other people's business, they do their own and pretend business, but they make it and value themselves upon being thought men of employment. Liberty is the thing which they are perpetually a-wishing, and never come to obtain, a thing never to be bought nor sold, but a man must ask it of himself and give it to himself. Yeah. A man must ask liberty of himself and give it to himself. He that has given proof of his virtue in public shall do well to make a trial of it in private. It is not that solitude or a country life teaches innocence or frugality, but vice falls of itself, without witness and spectators, for the thing it designs is to be taken notice of. Did ever any man put on rich clothes not to be seen? Or spread the pomp of his luxury where nobody was to take notice of it? If it were not for admirers and spectators, there would be no temptations to excess. Facts. The very keeping of us from exposing them cures us of desiring them. For vanity and intemperance are fed with ostentation. He that has lived at sea in a storm, let him retire and die in the haven. But let his retreat be without ostentation, and wherein he may enjoy himself of a good conscience, without the want, the fear, the hatred, or the desire of anything, not out of malevolent detestation of mankind, but for satisfaction and repose. He that shuns both business and man, either out of envy or any other discontent, his retreat is but to the life of a mole. Nor does he live to himself as a wise man does, but to his bed, his belly, and his lusts. Many people seem to retire out of a weariness of public affairs and the trouble of disappointments, and yet ambition finds them out, even in that recess into which fear and weariness had cast them. And so does luxury, pride, and most of the distempers of a public life. Yeah, like remember the official title, the original title? It was to choose your own business, or to be of your own business. And that is what we all should be. Wow, that's so deep, man. You should be about your shit. You should be about you, about making you happen. And then along the path, you will find people to support you. Like they will show up. They will just fucking magically appear. Like they really will, dude. Like, I don't know how any of this happened. Like, everyone just kind of magically appeared. How did my karate school show up there? How did my band director show up there? How did my high school teacher to help me write my essays show up there? Like, they just came up about, man. I was doing my shit and the Lord gave them to me. When the student is ready, the master shall appear. So make yourself a ready student. Make yourself a worthy student, so that when the master appears, you are ready to take the guidance. You are ready to take the understanding and to apply it and to use it. Because otherwise, if you're not ready, the master won't appear. All right, cool. Thank you, everybody, for joining. That was the Yin Yang Wolf Pack. That was IMC Nation. Let's see. When's the next time? I'll see you guys next Sunday.